I'm a Midwest guy, so in my mind, I'm thinking a wife at that time should cook, clean.
After nearly 3 decades of silence, former baseball star David Justice has finally broken his silence on why his fairy tale marriage to Halle Berry came to a shocking end. Once Hollywood's golden couple, the glamorous actress and the athletic heartthrob, their love story captivated fans before unraveling in the mid-90s. Now, David Justice has come out to give his candid remarks on why the marriage failed miserably. So, what did he reveal? And how did Halle Berry react to his revelation? As, after 28 years, David Justice exposes why he divorced Halle Berry. David Justice shares surprising reason he opted out. Celebrity marriages often arrive with built-in expiration dates in the eyes of the public. The whirlwind romance, the glossy red carpet appearances, the glowing magazine spreads, it all looks perfect until, suddenly, it's not. Most exes go their separate ways, letting the past fade into polite silence. But David Justice, nearly 3 decades after divorcing Halle Berry, has made it clear he still has something to say. And what he's saying now has reopened old wounds and sparked fresh debates. Appearing on the All the Smoke podcast on August 7, the 3-time MLB All-Star peeled back the curtain on his short-lived marriage to the Oscar-winning actress. Reflecting on the union with the benefit, and perhaps the bias of hindsight, Justice described how his traditional expectations and their vastly different lifestyles led to the unraveling of a love story that once seemed destined for forever. The remark that grabbed the most headlines was his candid admission that, in his eyes, Berry didn't seem motherly. Justice delivered the comment with the venom, with the matter-of-fact tone of someone explaining an incompatibility. To him, not motherly meant more than just parenting instincts. It was tied to domestic habits and family-oriented priorities. He recalled on the show that he was thinking, okay, if they had kids, was this the woman he wanted to have kids with and build a family with? At that time, she didn't cook, didn't clean, and didn't really seem motherly, which led to issues in their relationship. His words were as much a confession about his own mindset as they were a critique of hers. Justice admitted that he was young, inexperienced in relationships, and operating under a rigid, old-fashioned blueprint for marriage. There were other fractures, too. Berry's skyrocketing career meant long stretches apart, with the actress filming in different countries, while Justice's baseball schedule kept him tied to his own demanding travel. Perhaps the most surprising revelation, however, came when Justice revealed how the marriage began. "She asked me to marry her after knowing me for 5 months," he said. "I said okay, but I don't know if my heart was really into it. I didn't want to make her feel bad and say no." In that statement, there's a telling blend of regret and reluctant honesty, a recognition that his own hesitance may have been just as fatal to the relationship as their lifestyle differences. Justice's words suggest that closure has remained elusive, and that in his mind, the gap between what he wanted in a wife and what she was willing to be was simply too wide to bridge. The result? A marriage that burned brightly, ended quickly, and has continued to smolder in the public conversation ever since. So, how did Halle Berry react to this public smear? Let's delve into that. Halle Berry subtly shades David Justice. Halle Berry has weathered decades in the public eye, crowned as one of the most beautiful women in the world, celebrated for her talent, and endlessly scrutinized for her personal life. She's been named People magazine's Most Beautiful more than once, topped FHM's 100 Sexiest Women in the World, and was even Esquire's Sexiest Woman Alive in 2008, a title she accepted with a laugh. Her charm, beauty, and poise have made her an icon, but they've also made her a lightning rod for commentary. And David Justice's recent not motherly remark? Berry handled it in a way only she could, with style, subtlety, and just enough shade. The Oscar-winning actress didn't rage or issue a lengthy press statement. Instead, she went for a playful, pointed response. On August 14th, her 59th birthday, Halle Berry posted bikini-clad beach photos with her boyfriend, musician Van Hunt, captioning them, "Phew, cooking, cleaning, and mothering." The sarcasm was as bright as the sun she was lounging under. One shot even showed her embracing a young girl, believed to be her daughter Nahla, while other snaps revealed birthday cards addressed to Mom, and a cake lovingly prepared by her children. Without saying a word directly to Justice, Berry reminded the world that she is indeed a hands-on mother, just on her own terms. This wasn't her first brush with public commentary on her private life. She had been candid about the struggles and lessons learned from her relationships over the years. Having gone through 3 divorces, she finally knew what wasn't working. She realized she was always saying to the universe what she didn't want, so that's what she manifested. Her present relationship came from shifting that energy toward what she did want, proof that she'd moved far beyond the judgments of past partners. Halle Berry's resilience is not just about love stories. Her personal history reveals a deep well of strength. Born to an African-American father and a white mother, she has described her biracial upbringing as painful and confusing. Early in her Hollywood career, she faced not only racial bias, but also personal trauma. In 1991, during the filming of The Last Boy Scout, she suffered a devastating injury, a burst eardrum, and 80% hearing loss in her left ear, from a violent incident with an unnamed, well-known Hollywood boyfriend. Though rumors have swirled for years, Berry has never publicly identified the man, proving her choice to protect her dignity and maintain control over her own story. As for her motherly role, the evidence speaks for itself. Berry has been fiercely devoted to her children, Nala and Makeo, navigating co-parenting arrangements while keeping her kids' lives as private as possible. She's frequently seen at their sporting events, on family vacations, and in candid social media moments that reveal warmth, humor, and affection. To her fans, and to many in the media, this paints a picture in direct opposition to Justice's dated assessment. For Berry, the moment served as both a rebuttal and a reminder. She is living life on her terms, raising her children, loving her partner, and refusing to let an ex-husband's decades-old perspective define her present. But where exactly did her journey with David Justice started from? Let's delve into that. The love story before the breakup. It began like a scene from a rom-com, with a television screen, a celebrity baseball game, and a spark of curiosity. In February 1992, Halle Berry, already turning heads in Hollywood, caught sight of David Justice, the Atlanta Braves' rising star, during an MTV celebrity baseball match. His athletic charm didn't just catch her attention, it lingered. When a reporter from Justice's hometown of Cincinnati later mentioned to Berry that the ballplayer was a fan of hers, she didn't just smile and nod. Instead, she boldly handed over her phone number, telling the reporter to pass it along. It was a modern fairy tale for the early 90s. A Hollywood beauty and a sports hero connected not through PR events or industry mixers, but through genuine intrigue and mutual admiration. The romance escalated quickly. The two began dating, and within months, the chemistry between them was undeniable. By the time the clock struck midnight on January 1st, 1993, Halle Berry and Justice were exchanging vows in an intimate yet high-profile wedding ceremony. The symbolism of marrying at the dawn of a new year wasn't lost on the press. The union seemed like a promise of longevity, passion, and fresh beginnings. They were instantly dubbed a power couple. She, a glamorous actress poised for superstardom, and he, a charismatic athlete with a World Series ring in his future. Their photographs graced magazines, and their appearances at premieres and sporting events were greeted with flashbulbs and cheers. In those early days, the marriage seemed unshakable. Berry gushed in interviews about Justice's support and his down-to-earth nature, while Justice praised her beauty and work ethic. They looked like they had found the rare balance between two demanding, high-profile careers. Yet behind the smiles, the first cracks were already forming. Their professions required constant travel. Justice crisscrossing the country during baseball season, Berry flying between continents for film shoots. The physical distance slowly became emotional distance. By the mid-90s, the strain was becoming evident. Personality differences that once seemed charming began to clash. Justice, operating under a traditional view of marriage, struggled with Berry's independent streak and relentless work schedule. Berry, equally driven, wasn't ready to slow her career momentum or conform to domestic expectations. The tabloids, sensing trouble, began churning out rumors. By February 1996, the love story had turned bittersweet. The couple announced their separation, a move that stunned fans who had followed their whirlwind courtship just a few years earlier. For Berry, the end was particularly devastating. She would later reveal that she sank into a deep depression and, at one point, considered taking her own life. A startling admission that highlighted the emotional toll of the breakup. For Justice, the split was framed more around incompatibility than catastrophe, though the emotional wounds were apparent on both sides. The divorce was finalized on June 20, 1997, bringing an official end to a marriage that had burned fast and bright. Yet even after the paperwork was signed, the relationship lingered in public memory, not just for the glamour it once embodied, but for the drama that followed. Allegations, misunderstandings, and pointed comments in later years kept their story alive in interviews and tabloids, turning what was once a fairy tale into a cautionary tale about love in the unforgiving glare of fame. Life after each other. When the ink dried on their 1997 divorce papers, David Justice and Halle Berry stepped out of each other's lives, but not out of the public conversation. Both would go on to write new chapters, find new loves, and learn new lessons, though the shadow of their brief but high-profile marriage never fully disappeared. For David Justice, the years after Halle Berry marked a transition from the adrenaline rush of the baseball diamond to the steadier rhythm of family life. In 2001, he married Rebecca Villalobos, a model and businesswoman who would become his partner in building a quieter, more grounded existence. Together, they welcomed 3 children, David Jr., Dionisio, and Raquel, and Justice embraced a role that was more about school events and soccer practices than red carpets and stadium lights. By the time he hung up his cleats in 2002, Justice had earned 3 MLB All-Star titles, a World Series championship, and the admiration of baseball fans for his clutch performances. Retirement didn't mean disappearing, however. He made occasional appearances as a baseball analyst, lending his insight to the sport that had shaped his life. But at home, he was simply Dad, a role he's described in interviews as his proudest accomplishment. Still, Justice never entirely escaped the ghost of his marriage to Berry. Interviews and articles would occasionally dredge up the past, prompting him to clarify, defend, or in recent years, openly reflect on what went wrong. For Halle Berry, life after Justice was anything but but quiet. She dove back into her career with an intensity that would soon earn her an Academy Award for Monsters Ball, cementing her place among Hollywood's elite. But her personal life remained headline fodder, with a series of high-profile romances and marriages that often seemed to mirror the same passion and turbulence she experienced with Justice. Her first major relationship after the divorce was with R&B singer Eric Benet. They married in 2001 in a lavish ceremony that seemed to promise a fresh start. But by 2003, the marriage was unraveling amid Benet's admitted struggles with addiction. The divorce was finalized in 2005, and Berry, in later interviews, referred to the experience as another painful lesson in love. Next came her relationship with French-Canadian model Gabrielle Aubry, a romance that began in 2005 and brought Berry her first child, daughter Nayla, born in 2008. While the relationship didn't end in marriage, it did end in one of the most publicized custody battles in Hollywood, with Berry fighting and ultimately losing a bid to relocate Nala to France. Despite the tension with Aubry, Berry has consistently shown her devotion to co-parenting and keeping her daughter's well-being at the forefront. In 2013, Berry married French actor Olivier Martinez, and the two welcomed son Maceo later that year. But by 2015, that marriage too ended in divorce, with Berry citing irreconcilable differences. Through it all, she maintained her focus on her children, often sharing glimpses of her family life on social media, while fiercely protecting their privacy from paparazzi intrusion. If her romantic history has been marked by highs and lows, Berry herself has been the first to admit that the journey taught her what she truly wants and what she'll no longer tolerate. In a 2023 interview, she spoke candidly about how past heartbreaks shaped her mindset. That shift in perspective led her to musician Van Hunt, her current partner. The relationship, which she's called the healthiest and happiest of her life, has been a refreshing turn away from the roller coaster of her earlier romances. She credits it to knowing herself better and to recognizing the difference between chemistry and compatibility. So, who was Halle Berry before the game and glamour? And how did she get to where she's now? Let's delve into that. From runway to big screen. Halle Berry's love life may have made more tabloid headlines than her filmography at times, but behind the gossip and the speculation stands a woman whose career has been as dazzling as it has been resilient. While her marriages and divorces have been picked apart in public, her professional story is one of persistence, reinvention, and breaking barriers in Hollywood. Before she became one of Hollywood's most recognized faces, Berry began her career in the world of beauty pageants and modeling. In the late 1980s, she competed in Miss USA and placed as the first runner-up, later representing the country at Miss World 1986. But she quickly realized her ambitions went beyond the runway. She wanted to act. Berry's first acting gigs were small television roles, but it didn't take long for her talent and charisma to open bigger doors. By the early 90s, she was making her mark in films like Jungle Fever, where she played a drug addict with startling realism, and Boomerang, starring opposite Eddie Murphy. Her ability to slip seamlessly between glamour and grit became her signature, a duality that would define much of her career. Halle Berry's defining career moment came in 2002, when she won the Academy Award for Best Actress for her role in Monsters Ball, making her the first black woman to receive the honor. Her performance as Letitia Musgrove, a grieving widow navigating love and loss, was raw and unforgettable, and her tearful, emotional acceptance speech remains one of Oscar history's most memorable moments. Beyond that historic win, Berry cemented herself in blockbuster territory with her portrayal of Storm in the X-Men franchise, a role that brought her global recognition. She also took on daring parts in films like Die Another Day, becoming one of the most memorable Bond girls, and Gothica, where she showcased her psychological thriller chops. Her awards shelf reflects her versatility, an Emmy, a Golden Globe, and a Screen Actors Guild Award among them. While her acting career has had its share of critical ups and downs, Berry has never stopped working. In recent years, she's taken control behind the camera, making her directorial debut with Bruised in 2020, a gritty MMA drama in which she also starred. The film, which premiered on Netflix, demonstrated her commitment to telling stories about strong, complicated women, and her willingness to train and transform physically for a role. Berry has also explored producing, using her influence to create more opportunities for women and people of color in the industry. Outside of film, she has dipped into business ventures, including fitness and wellness projects, brand endorsements, and collaborations that align with her personal values. Halle Berry's career hasn't been immune to setbacks, but at least it has nothing to do with cleaning and cooking. From films that underperformed at the box office to critics questioning her choices. Yet she's consistently rebounded, using each stumble as fuel to push forward. She's been vocal about the challenges women, especially women of color, face in Hollywood, and has advocated for equal pay and better representation both in front of and behind the camera. In balancing her professional life with motherhood, Berry has also crafted a public persona of a fiercely protective and devoted parent. She shares daughter Nala with Gabriel Aubry and son Maceo with Olivier Martinez, often keeping their lives private, but occasionally offering heartfelt glimpses into their bond. Her Instagram is sprinkled with moments of joy, humor, and family pride, countering any suggestion that she isn't motherly, with undeniable proof of the love she pours into her children. Decades after her marriage to David Justice ended, Berry's life continues to evolve. Both she and Justice have carried their own truths about what went wrong, and both have found ways to move forward. Time may have softened some wounds, but public curiosity about their past remains a testament to how celebrity relationships can become both romantic narratives and cautionary tales. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Also check out another interesting video by clicking on the video shown on your screen. See you on the other side.